I've got the lovely Elliott, Simpson, and Georgia
McKinna.
Yes. Sorry, I'm not prepared. You can tell, can't you? They've got 2 shows. One, both of you are in, and one of you are in.
So we're doing a horror cabaret show called Dr. Bonk's Macarbaret. Very spooky. Which is going to have Elliott as a bonky plague doctor, and then I'll be the narrator, and then you're doing your show.
As well, so we're doing 5 days of Dr. Bonk's Macabre, where I play my character, Dr. Bonk, mute medieval plague doctor, narrated by lovely Georgia. We bring on a mixture of very spooky drag and burlesque and comedians and musicians and poets every night. But then on Sunday, for one night only, I'm doing my solo show, which is called Elliott Simpson, Asexy and I Know It, which is an entire solo hour all about asexuality.
And you did that in 2019 for the whole month, or the whole 3 weeks, however. It's a long time. Did you? Yeah.
It's been different a few times. I did a short run for a week in 2019 when it was half an hour. Then I did the hour-long version as... In 2020, I actually did a digital Fringe. I did it, I live streamed it on 2020. Then last year, I did the whole run of the full hour for 26 days in a row.
Whoa.
And this year, I'm doing it again for one night only for a mixture of reasons. 1, because sure, why not? 2, to get it filmed. And 3, I didn't want to pay the full Fringe registration by doing a show for more than 5 days.
Yeah, that sounds like a very good plan indeed. So you're actually Glasgow based, aren't you?
I know the accent gives it away. I know. How do you do, fellow Glaswegians?
So you're going to be coming in and you have. Do you do a lot of Edinburgh shows, and is the commute hard?
It can be. Thankfully, there's always an express train from Glasgow Queen Street to Waverley. It's like 45 minutes. But it's only if you catch them. They're always very packed and busy. So.
Or we hitch a ride with a friend.
Yeah.
Who's okay with wasting petrol fuel on us.
Exactly. Always find a friend with a car who is overly generous and exploit that generosity to get lifts to Edinburgh.
Very good. Yeah. So how did you come up with the idea of the Macabaret, the Dr. Bonk Macabaret?
It was completely by accident, really.
It's been a series of accidents of Dr. Bonk because he was an accidental character because I was asked to do a regular, normal stand-up comedy gig years ago in Halloween, and the day before, the guy promoting it said, like, "Oh, just so you know, everyone's going to come in their Halloween costume." And my only costume was a plague doctor. I thought, I can't really do my usual asexual stand-up dressed like that. That's going to... I could have. It'd be interesting. I think it always to be confused. It's like a joke here we're not getting.
What is it about asexuality that makes
I wonder why he's not getting sex. It's because he's wearing that costume.
I'm worried people...
The week gets in the way.
I'm worried people start associating asexuality as a plague. No,
that wouldn't be a great... subtle sort of... No, that's not
really
a
great message.
So, but then I thought, I used to make up a character here, and then he's a plague doctor, but he's been alive for 400 years, studying medicine. And now he's got all these loads to pay off, but now no one's got the plague anymore, so he's really pissed off. I guess I did it improvised really, and it went on really well. And gradually over the years, he's kind of developed from a character that he used to speak. He used to have a wireless mic in the microphone. But then I started doing like kind of online sketches with him, where he's like more of a silent kind of black and white silent comedy character. And I thought he was more funny and more unsettling when he didn't speak.
Yeah.
And I guess I do want to like have a whole solo hour show of Bonk, but I have to kind of work my way to that. So I thought, what would be a good way of trying it out? Oh, I know. I'll do like a mixed bill. He will like host it, do little bits in between, but other acts on at the same time. Hence, we thought, about horror cabaret, a Macabaret.
But Georgia's very, very important in this.
Yes.
Mostly unseen presence throughout.
Yeah.
She's the voice of the god.
She is the real star of the show.
Yeah, and so the most that I do is I hide behind the curtain and I narrate. So basically, I'm just kind of dictating what Bonk is doing, and it's kind of funny because there is a part in our show where things go wrong and I'm not there anymore, and it kind of is interesting to see how Bonk operates and how he actually struggles without a voice to kind of guide him in some way. I do the narration. I bully him for a little bit of it, and it's fun, and it's all good. And I egg you on sometimes.
I mean, it's really, I think it's a very unique form of like hosting and emceeing. I think this is a fun this character dynamic we have going on, which again happened by accident because originally there was another comedian who was going to be hosting the show, and I did kind of be on stage with him. He dropped out last minute. then we were going to have like a set pre-recorded voice lines which I would play on the clicker. On the first night we did it, the voice line, the iPad wasn't working, so Georgia thankfully she said, "Oh, just give me the microphone, I'll just do it live." And that's now how we've done it ever since.
So how long have you been doing it this way then?
Been since last October.
Because it was for the
Halloween special.
Well, because it was for the Edinburgh Horror Festival
Nice.
with Vash and Teresa,
Yeah.
and that's when it all happened. That's when everything went wrong. Georgia stepped in, and so since October last year, this is how we've done it.
Happy accidents.
Yeah.
Happy
Very good,
accidents.
Yeah.
It's all been happy accidents and it's all worked out best. And like even now as we're still kind of doing the show, more things more like happy accidents happen and it actually ends up like making the show better.
Yeah.
Like people dropping out and we end up getting like new acts coming in and it just it's a string of happy accidents that make the show.
It's exactly how my parents described my birth.
Me too.
So Georgia, had you done much performing before this?
Well, I have a background in fine arts, and I did performance art for quite a while.
So it's good grounding.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a baseline kind of acknowledgement, and also a lot of the artwork that I used to make was very much based in humor and kind of poking fun at culture and online memes and stuff like that. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand with what we do and what your comedy is, and it just helps as well that me and Elliott just have a very similar sense of humor and just really love silliness and nonsense.
We like chaotic nonsense is probably our brand of humor to a T, which you got to be part because you were in the show.
Dude. Yes, I was, and then I had to very much play part of the rest of the show. And there was a lot of people doing audience interaction, and I had to still be in character. They were like, "Show us your hands," and it's just it's a giveaway. But there was
you did a great job of staying in character.
I was just but then I needed a drink, so I was like. Anyway, that's probably giving away what I was saying.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Because we've only got 2 nights and it's fine. And everyone will have forgotten and nobody will be watching this anyway. So it's a bit like Weimar Republic sort of cabaret sort of show, really. You've got all the stuff going. Yeah.
Oh,
and the arts and the high arts and the low arts and everything.
Yeah.
The dark arts.
Dark arts, yes.
Yeah, I think it's just because we like a variety of different things. We love really lowbrow art and also really love silly comedians.
Well, yeah, I think I've already quite experienced kind of running variety nights because I run a night myself in Glasgow called a diversity quota, which is a comedy night where I get a diverse bill of acts on every single month. So I was already kind of used to knew a lot of people from different backgrounds, so I can afford. But when we fun, it was all under the theme of spookiness, horror.
Oh,
I didn't say spooky rather than horror. Cause I think when you say kind of horror stuff, people think oh no, it's gonna be really gruesome. But say spooky, it's ooh, it's a little bit, scary, but not too much.
It's quite twee. It's not as extreme as horror and gore and everything like that. There is aspects of horror and gore in it, but we'll keep that under wraps.
Yeah, so it was a good balance, I think. The night I came to see it and take part in it, it was a good mixture. So yeah, do you have a struggle trying to find the right balance sometimes?
Only when people drop out on the day, like today and yesterday and the day before.
Yeah.
People keep dropping out because we've learnt a lesson. If we ever going to do this again, don't run a variety night during the last week of the Fringe when everyone's getting ill and very tired.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah. I think if we were to do this again, it would be during the beginning or the middle of the Fringe. Just because the last week everyone's just so exhausted and wants to go home.
That's a good point.
but last year for the Horror Festival in October, because it was just a 4-day event, honestly, we didn't have any dropouts at all. I found it very easy to. I just know a lot of people from different backgrounds, and I found it very ezy to orchestrate a mixed bill every night because no one dropped out. It all went swimmingly.
But I mean, it's more solid there. It's these are the days. Be available those days. Whereas this is a very long. Drawn out.
Everyone's schedule's different. Some people are coming back and forth from Glasgow and Edinburgh. Some people are so knackered by the end of the month. We've learnt our lesson in many regards.
Yeah, but it's been great in terms of a learning curve and how we do the show, and it's helped us come up with a couple of new ideas.
Well, because actually usually when we do it at the Banshee Labyrinth, it's actually a monthly night now as well. We do it every month now at Banshee.
There's more to see in Edinburgh.
There's more to see. More to see.
Yeah, during the Horror Festival.
We are. We're doing that again. Yes. But in the Banshee we usually have a screen and a projector, so there's usually a lot of video elements in the show. Yeah. But we couldn't do that the Dragonfly this year, which in a way I'm kind of thankful for, because now because we've stripped back the tech, it's made it a bit simpler.
It means
easier to run.
It means that we're able to kind of experiment with more things and kind of reach out and do more things that we're not that we've not tried before, like body horror, and it means that we can kind of expand the characters a little bit more. So it's been stripped back, but it's also allowed us to develop it in a more meaningful way.
But make no mistake, most of the show it has very bad puns with lots of props and limbs being thrown about.
Yeah, we spent you spent a lot of money on props.
So much money on props.
You should have entered the pun of the Fringe, or the best joke of the Fringe.
I did.
Yeah.
I think
I didn't win.
I was really I mean, it's very hard to unless you're well known or you got PR and stuff. I think only one person I know with no PR at all managed to make it this year, only because he's on a pun show every single day of the Fringe.
Yeah. It's difficult because puns are a special thing of their own, really. I think in context they really work, but maybe on their own, maybe not so much sometimes.
It depends.
It's one of those old-fashioned styles of humour. I think it's kind of it's very accessible humour. Everyone can understand the pun. Everyone can get involved. I think I really admire people who are able to do nothing but puns for an extended period of time but make it engaging. Because I think everyone likes puns, but hearing nothing but them for a long time, it's kind of. Alright, yeah, because it's the same rhythm. It's
you have to break it up with something else. Right.
Yeah.
So you've got a couple more nights of this one, then you're doing one night only.
One night only.
One person show.
Well, I mean, Georgia might be behind the curtain. She might be
talking for you.
She might be not talking, but she might be holding a banana at one point in the show.
It's not a euphemism. It genuinely might be a banana.
Oh, that's good. Bananas are good. Bananas are full of potassium.
They are full of potassium. Delicious.
Yeah,
great in porridge.
Yeah, exactly. So George is behind the scenes like a puppet master.
Yeah.
With a banana.
Yes.
Just in case you have a bit of a sort of cri de coeur. I need a banana. I need some help. Georgia, help me.
I can give that.
Emergency banana handler. That's you.
Yeah, we always need emergency bananas.
Always need emergency banana.
Yeah.
But no, so Sunday is my solo show from last year. I'm really proud of it because it is, and I did check because I met the guy from the British Comedy Guide and he confirmed it is the first ever asexuality comedy show at the Fringe.
Really?
Yeah, well, it was the first show to be exclusively about it. I'm sure there's been comedians at the Fringe before who probably have been asexual, but no one's ever done a show about it or done humour about it. There's a couple more this year. There's an asexuality musical this year.
Which is very good.
Alright, but you were there first.
I was the first. I'm the OG.
I'm looking at the I'm like, just see more, but you were the first.
I was always the first.
Always the first.
OG.
The groundbreaker. So you're going to be saying lots of things about. I'm assuming you're going to say lots of things in your show. So is there a very big difference between the Dr. Bonk and the
it's like night and day.
They could not be more different. I mean, literally, my show is about asexuality, about not experiencing sexual attraction, and Dr. Bonk is literally called Dr. Bonk.
Yeah.
He's got Bonk in his name.
Yeah.
And unlike me, Dr. Bonk is a very chaotic, very sexually frustrated, very angry person, and very kind of mischievous and silly, and
he's very sadistic, and
he's definitely murdered someone. There's no evidence. He's definitely murdered someone.
He definitely thrives on other people's misery.
He does.
But when it's inflicted upon himself, that's he's not so into that.
Well, no, my style. When I'm not Bonk, when I'm myself, I'm very kind of high energetic, very kind of all over the place, kind of skittish, kind of quick, fast-paced delivery. I do also do a lot of puns and one-liners. That's very much my style. I'm just very kind of quick fire. But I really enjoy doing Dr. Bonk because he's like a vehicle for me to kind of be more experimental and darker, do things I couldn't usually do as myself.
Yeah. I just had a sort of like, in The Shining where Danny's got
Red Room.
It's like Red Rum. It's like Dr. Bonk, the little creature that says Red Rum. Yeah.
I am The Shining to you.
Well, that's why I generally thinking one day I might get a tattoo of Dr. Bonk on my back because my other side.
He's your spooky boy.
Yeah. Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Bonk.
Yeah.
Mr. Bonk.
Well, I mean,
Dr.
Elliott
and
and
Mr.
Mr.
Elliott.
Mr.
Elliott and
so
Mr.
frightening.
Bonk. Bonkus.
Well, I'm now wondering because actually in 2020 for lockdown, the Edinburgh Horror Festival was an online show. I made a short film about Dr. Bonk called Dr. Bonk's Lockdown Diary, and I was both in it as myself and Dr. Bonk, and I had a lot of shots where it'd be me on one side, Bonk on the other side, and I do a split screen, so we look on screen at the same time.
Yeah.
And there was a point where he did actually kill me, which might be, I don't know, that's probably symbolism, isn't it?
It probably must be like pseudo symbolism.
Down in the depths.
Yeah, my alter ego kills me. That's probably something.
You don't want that, do you? Really?
It's very
It
meta.
says something unsettling about my psyche, but.
Yeah.
I want to be at the front.
Yeah. It's very meta.
But it's weird because weirdly, I mean, obviously wearing like the mask all the time, yes, it is exhausting and it is very tiring and sweaty and hot, but you get a weird sense of kind of freedom wearing it because you kind of feel like no one knows it's you under there. No one knows what you're thinking or saying. Think, what are you
All
now?
the 4 people that are watching.
Now everyone knows. But in the moment, there's a real sense of freedom you get, and no one knows what's going to happen, and you feel kind of protected by it.
To be honest, that is probably true because I saw on the poster Elliott Simpson in A Sexy and You Know It. I'm like, oh, that looks good, and I was like, yeah, I know him. I've just met him. What am I talking about? It's just like there does seem to be a disconnect between your persona there and your persona as Dr. Bonk. Dr. Bonk's a very, even though you say it's dark and mysterious, it's also quite, because it's a quiet sort of low key sort of character. But it's a sort of clown character, would you say?
Yeah,
I'd say he's a clown character because it is kind of silly and goofy and he's kind of understated, but yeah, I say dark and mysterious. I wouldn't say go out that far,
he's a silly like shadow of a man.
Really. I think he blends the line very well between being somewhat unsettling but also kind of silly at the same time. And I think just the visual of him is both kind of creepy but also a bit silly at the same time. That's why I love wearing like the long cloak, like the droopy sleeves, because I think it makes him look a bit clumsy and fumblesome.
Yeah. It's funny when people want to take pictures with you. And like even seeing you fly or like in the streets wearing the costume, it's so disturbing, but it's also weirdly cute. Just like seeing you like waddle about, they're like having that fly.
But yeah, your body language changes because you're sort of like Dr. Bonk, and you're not. You're like sexy. Just different body language entirely. So that's very, it's mask work though, isn't it?
It is mask work. So long as I've done some clowning workshops, and they always tell me the first like most important like rule of clowning is that you should always make sure you make eye contact with your audience and build a rapport with them, which is awful for me for 2 reasons. 1, I'm autistic, so eye contact is terrifying, and 2, I can't see shit when I'm wearing that mask.
Well, in a way, that might be a solution rather than a problem.
It might be, yeah, because I guess
you don't have to.
that fear's gone then. 'Cause I can't see their eyes. I just know vaguely where they are in the room.
It's like, haha, you have to put up with this now. But then you're behind the scenes, so there's no way that you could make eye contact with anyone.
No, that's the best part. Is like even though I'm in control of like the audio and like everything like that, and like one part of emceeing, it means like the pressure is kind of gone because there's that separation with the curtain. But also I am able to see the audience. We've got a little webcam. We've managed to do like a sneaky little workaround. So we've got a little webcam, so I'm able to like see the audience and see Bonkus walking around doing his thing. But yeah, definitely the nerves are alleviated considering that I'm behind the scenes.
In hindsight, I think we have kind of devised the perfect neurodivergent way of hosting a comedy night, in that we don't have to look at the audience, and I get to mask the entire time. So like, it's perfect.
Sell the format. It's like, you want to do this? We'll teach you how.
It's very beneficial. It means that like the only time I really have to look at people is at the end, and usually I'm like. Yes, thank you for coming. But it's mostly just nerves and social nonsense. But yeah, we survive. We do good.
No, the more you do it, the easier it gets. But, I mean, so it's always terrifying. I mean, I've been doing comedy for a long time now, and it's always scary. It's never not scary, but you kind of need that fear, the adrenaline to kind of get the energy up. And over the years, when I started comedy, not Bonk, but doing regularly comedy, I started out being a very kind of nervous character, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I love your nervous character." I'm like, "Yeah, character, that's what it's like." I just generally was shaking and really scared. But over the years, I guess people find that funny. I kind of like emphasized it a bit. So yeah, I think. So for years I thought, I gotta get better. I gotta get over my stutter. I gotta get over being nervous. And then I thought, well, hang on, why not just hone in on it, make it look deliberate, then it's funny then.
It's all persona though, isn't it? So I mean, both of you have got the persona. You've got the persona that you can hide behind the curtain, literally hide behind the persona, and you can hide behind the mask, but also the persona. So doing the Dr. Bonk character who's very much not you, and then doing the Elliott character who's probably also a persona of you, do you find that it's more sort of a naked feeling, that not literally naked, that you're talking as yourself, or is there still a persona when you're doing a one-person show?
Absolutely is a persona, yeah. I mean, I didn't really I wasn't very conscious of it at first. I just over time kind of realised, oh yeah, I guess I do kind of become someone else when I'm performing. I guess I'm just so used to the routine of it all now, but I'm very much more louder, higher energy, kind of skitty, and I have a lot of kind of nervous tics. That did generally start out as actual nervous tics, but now that's become part of the routine now, as it's into the script in my brain. I do kind of go on autopilot really when I'm on stage. I kind of become this other version takes over. But that's the version of me that knows all the lines, so I'm happy to put it in their hands.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So you've got, how many more shows of the Dr. Bonk have you got now?
2 more shows.
Two more tonight and tomorrow. Then that's it. Then one night.
Just you on your own.
On me
With
own.
the banana and Georgia behind the scenes.
Jordan and banana.
Yeah.
Georgia the banana, not Georgia and the banana, not Georgia the
No,
banana.
that's next year's show.
Georgia dressed as a giant banana.
Again, it's not
Hiding behind the
euphemism.
banana. No, I wasn't thinking it would.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Who knows? Who knows? Fringe is crazy.
Fringe is crazy.
I mean, there's a cult Fringe show about a man dressed as a gorilla in the rocking chair every year, so
I am aware.
there's definitely room for someone to be a banana. So do I.
So do
We all
So
know.
does everybody.
Yeah. Sadly, it wasn't.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, sadly, it wasn't that well kept of a secret.
It wasn't. Well, the thing is, though, that even when they apply to Free Fringe, it's under a false name, and I didn't realise that it wasn't. I was like, oh, is that the person that's applied? But then I did it. It's a backwards. It's a palindrome. It's not a palindrome. It's just a backwards word. It's not a palindrome. 'Cause that would be so it's like Liam McGould or something. So it's just something that gmail.com.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's interesting. So have you got any ideas for next year's show? You've got.
Oh, possibly. I'm not sure I'd ever want to do a full month of Dr. Bonk, only because we're ending 5 days, and already we've had like 8 people have cancelled on us, and that's been a disaster. Obviously, it's fine. We've always found replacements, but I think it's the sheer stress of knowing people will drop out. The whole month of this was killers, and also all the late nights. It's really messing with our schedules. But I'd be down for doing another short run, maybe at the beginning of the month next time.
Yeah, we'll definitely do and I think as well, Bonk works when it's in a vacuum, like when he's in a condensed kind of period. So yeah, we'll probably do it at like the beginning or the middle of next year if we can.
But also we're thinking about maybe doing another night that, rather than being Macarbaret, it's just like alternative comedy, and we all call it Dr. Bonk's Alternative Medicine.
And it'll just be like a bunch of jokes about holistic medicine and like jokes about anti-vaxxers and all that nonsense.
Because again, he started as an accident, but obviously the more stuff I've done with him would be the online film, the online sketches, the cabaret, everything else. It's just been fun to kind of just explore this character. I feel like I'm exploring him at the same time everyone else is. And I kind of want to get to the point where he can just be someone you can just plop him into any situation, and something weird will happen.
And it means that you've got more of a sort of leeway with the sort of guests you get as well, I would imagine. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a certain type of thing. So you can just go with anything.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, this will take years to happen, and I probably would definitely need some kind of grant. But I guess the dream one day would be to have like a solo hour of Bonk just by himself, with lots of tech and props and madness happening, and I'm not sure exactly how that would manifest, but I think it'd be a really interesting idea to give it a go.
Yeah, we'll give it a try. We'll workshop it.
So would you balance that with another one-person show?
Oh yes, well as far as my solo career, 'cause again I'm like one of the UK's most well-known asexual comedians.
No.
And there's always more material with asexuality, because no one's really talking about it at all. It's very much
That's true. It's just sort of
It gets
It's not as well represented as it should be.
No.
I think we have like 2 media representations that got it right, I think.
Yeah, not many. It's getting better, but it's not many, and it's. I mean that's why asexuals were the A in LGBTQIA. They put it at the end because we like the jump scare, like LGBTQIA. So I'm just doing my bit really to represent my community, teach people about it. So I want it to be an educational show, and I'm really glad that my show Asexual, I know it is. I think and then I think the next year or the year after, I do want to do like a sequel, really, call it, because the first show is called I'm asexy and I know it. So naturally, the second show is going to be called I'm Bringing Asexy Back.
Oh, nice one. Yeah. No, but it's true though. There's probably needs to be more representation because there's quite a lot of things that people go, I never had that when I was a child. I never had that when I was... It's like, yes, you did. You just didn't call it that.
There wasn't a word to verbalise what it was.
Yeah.
Whereas now we've got all the words that you could ever ask for, and that's kind of the most perfect thing about it.
I just find it so funny that people act like homosexuality like it was only invented like 100 years ago.
Yeah,
Sorry. Have you met the ancient Greeks? Like it was by law you had to have a bum chum back then. That was the law. Everyone was fucking everyone. It was all just non-stop orgies of everyone of every sex and gender.
Yeah, they hear like when they were younger, they were like, well, we only had Elton John, and he was the only gay person. He invented being gay, obviously. Of
course he did.
It's like no, he wasn't the only person. There was literally millions of others.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So everything that exists today has always existed, but people would be like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what about it.
I know it's weird. It was like, oh no, but it is a recent thing because recently studies show more people today identify as LGBT. Like, have you never considered maybe the fact that people feel comfortable in being open, not going to be killed for it, might something to do with why there's more open people today?
Exactly.
Never occurred to you.
Just, I mean, and I think probably, the last census showed there was a lot of people that were saying that they were certain things that they probably wouldn't say if they were saying it out loud, but they're like, well, this is going to be close for 100 years, and there's ticked all the boxes, and it's like, oh, wow, I mean, there was something like 27% in a couple of places in Britain, 27% identified as one of the LGBTQIA plus things. So yeah, there's a lot more than you'd think.
Yeah,
there is,
definitely.
And like, who's to say that there's not millions more other different types of like communities and identities that we just don't really know much about yet, because they don't really think like they've got a community for it yet. Because I mean, like, asexuality is very more recent because they've always existed, but everyone was so like kind of shy and squeamish and was afraid to be open, or they were convinced they had like a medical condition or they were broken somehow. They didn't have the confidence to seek out other people who were similar to them. But thanks to kind of dawn of the internet, people realised, oh, there's actually other people like me out there, and then hence the community was kind of born.
Yeah, that's kind of the great thing about the internet is like, it's terrible, but it's also quite great in that you can kind of navigate wherever you go and what communities you want to like associate with. So it's definitely made it a lot easier for younger people to kind of like pick out and kind of identify and relate to what they feel. Yeah. So it makes things quite easier for younger queer folks.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Love it.
But yeah, so if anyone's interested, if you don't know much about asexuality, my show Asexy and I Know It is very much like a kind of guide, a 101, a basic introductory guide to what is asexuality, but through comedy and humour, my own personal experiences. So hopefully people come see it, will go away learning a lot about it.
Aha! It explains everything.
I have the answer! I think my next show will be a bit more personal, because it'll be about, because I wrote my first show before I met Georgia. So the show's already written, and then I met Georgia, and then obviously Georgia, love of my life, fire of my loins.
Fire of my loins.
I think the next show will be more about like, what has been my relationship with Georgia? Has that affected my identity? How do I feel about it? And also I want to discuss more about my autism as well, because I don't really talk about my autism very much in my comedy. But I think it's another interesting angle to talk about. And I think it'd just be nice to do the inevitable more personal show. I've done the funny show of all the puns, now I can do the more personal show.
Every comedian has to do one serious bit. They've got to do a bit of seriousness.
You don't get the nice review if you don't have the serious bit.
Yeah, you won't get 5-star if you don't have a little sob story thrown in.
And it's good to have that intersection as well, because it's like, I'm not one thing, I'm also this thing, and I'm also this thing, and they can work together like a big Venn diagram.
Yeah, but you know what? It's funny you say that, because actually I think that's the reason why I've come to really love doing Bonk so much, because while I first started stand-up, I started doing asexuality stuff, and no one else was doing it, and had a really unique niche. I felt really like, initially I was like really like impassioned and confident, like, oh wow, yeah, I got this unique thing no one's talking about. Yeah, I'm the asexual comedian. That's been great, but over the years gone by, I've been kind of worried, like, is that a crutch though? Like am I relying on it too much? Like, without talking about asexuality stuff, like, what am I? Am I nothing? Is this the only thing I have going for me? I started to doubt, whether I actually was as naturally funny about things. I'm wondering, maybe one day I'll just run out of this stuff and I'll have to do something different. But I think doing Bonk is a great way to show that, I guess I can do something different, completely removed. and it's still funny, it still works.
Exactly.
It's a really like
exploring
Yeah,
the
exactly.
aspects of your jigsaw of a personality.
Yeah.
Everybody's jigsaw. La. Talking of which, have you ever seen Nosy Bonk?
Oh, I do. I know exactly who you mean. Yeah,
Yes.
Nosy Bonk. It's terrifying. Most terrifying creation ever created.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm worried. I don't think I was self-consciously thinking about when I thought of the name Dr. Bonk. I just thought I saw the long nose and thought, it looks like he looked like he'd bonk into things.
That is me. That is some part of me deep down in my soul.
But like Mr. Nosy Bonk, he was like a character of like a kids program, wasn't he? With a really long nose and a big massive eyes and a cheeky grin. That was a show. Oh, that's the name of the show.
I suddenly went,
Exactly. I was about to say.
That's a very.
I was about to say. I don't remember Mr. Nosy Bonk being in Saw.
Different Jigsaw.
He was actually Jigsaw.
Also a mask, but a different mask. Maybe Saw is actually Nosy Bonk, the
Nosy
movie.
Bonk.
Saw would be scarier. Jigsaw had his mask on rather than the other.
Well, that is actually disturbing in retrospect. That Jigsaw, the name of the children's program, is the name of the
villain.
Of the masked villain. With a similar nose. Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
I think there's too much depth and dark.
What period did the Jigsaw come out in?
80s. Yeah.
What was it with like 80s and this nightmare fueled children's TV like Mr. Blobby and Nosy Bonk? Like what's wrong with people?
I mean that's kind of where the voice, like my narration voice, came from. Is from like puppet shows from like the 60s that had this really creepy, like unsettling, like female voice saying "Hello, boys and
like
kind of this like
Watch Your
creepy
Mother.
Watch
Watch Your Mother. Yeah,
Watch Your
exactly.
Mother.
Yeah.
Hello, little sausage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it very much has that kind of feel to
Yeah.
it. But we kind of enjoy how unsettling kids' TV used to be.
Because like, do we go back and like watch like like Bill and Ben, Flowerpot Men stuff, and how kind of uncanny and creepy the kind of like staticky noise in the puppets and the way the kind of uncanny human faces they have.
Yeah, Grand Guignol, which is based on puppets as well. You know, originally puppets. That's what you're going to be scared of. Yeah, I made a whole puppet parody of Midsummer called Mid-Autumn.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah,
it is good.
Yeah, sure it is. Yeah, absolutely.
That's available online. I had it as part of the Digital Free Fringe last year. Not this year, but you can still see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shows to go, and you can see them in Edinburgh and Glasgow and probably all around the country and possibly the world. So look out for it as well.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we'll be at the Dragonfly bar at 10:45 today, tomorrow, and then on Sunday.
Same time, same place, but this time
A
sexy time.
This guy. Yeah.
He knows it.
I
know it. We know it. Everyone knows it. She knows it. All of us know it. We all know it.
Yes.
Sexy, and I know it. That's it. Okay, fine. There's the name of it. Yeah, brilliant. See you soon. I don't know what I'm going. I'm just too tired at this point. See you soon. Bye.
Bye everyone.